You know when you feel ready because you've prepared everything properly? Your slides are done, your notes are written, and you've got your script sitting there ready to guide you through it. And then in one moment, all of that disappears. That is exactly what happened to me. Welcome back to I'm No Rookie, the podcast for those of you who know you've got more to give, but you're figuring out your next step. Today, I want to talk about confidence, not the kind you think you need before you start, but the kind that shows up when you have no choice but to trust yourself. So, a lot of you may know, or you might not know, that I'm currently in my second year of my PhD. One of the things I said to myself going into my second year was that I needed to start presenting, not teaching, because I have been teaching since 2010, but actually presenting my research and speaking about it with confidence. Because there is a difference, right? Teaching is one thing, but standing in a room and talking about your own work is a completely different level. Last year in 2025, I started putting myself forward for opportunities. I submitted two abstracts for BERA. So, BERA is the British Education Research Association. One of them I was not too confident about, and the other one I felt quite good about. Then came the waiting time, 6 months. So if you've ever applied to anything like that, you know you submit and then carry on with your life. Towards the end of last year, I got the responses. One was unsuccessful, which was the one I wasn't really that sure about anyway, and the other one was accepted. So I knew that in March 2026, I would be presenting at the BERA Early Career Researchers Conference. Now, in my mind, BERA at this stage felt big. So I thought before I get there, I need to practice in a real setting, not with my skill support tutor or with a friend via Zoom, a real setting. That is when I decided to present at the EdD weekend at my university. I remember thinking to myself, I do not actually need to do this, but I knew exactly why I was doing it. I needed to build my confidence. So, weeks before the presentation, before the EdD presentation, I prepared everything properly. My slides were done, and I had written out all my presenter notes. Every key point was mapped out. In my mind, I thought that as long as I had my notes, I would be absolutely fine. And by the way, I didn't actually have any handouts. I was going off the notes in my PowerPoint presenter section. On the day of the presentation, I was setting up because it was my turn to present. So I was setting up everything up and I opened up my PowerPoint to check my presenter view so I could see my notes. But then I realized something. I could see my notes on the screen and so could everyone else. I tried to fix it. I clicked around, adjusted settings, and tried to work out how to hide the presenter view from the audience. But there was no fix. That was just how the system was set up at the university. And in that moment, I panicked because I thought, oh, damn, I need my notes. I cannot remember everything. What if I forget what I want to say? What if I don't sound academic enough? What if I just completely lose my train of thought? But I did not have a choice. I had to get on with it. So I started anyway. And instead of trying to remember everything that I had written, I spoke about my experience. I spoke about the journey, the challenges, the moments where things did not make sense, and the moments where they finally did. I did not use all the terminology that I had planned to use. I did not say everything perfectly, but I spoke about what I actually understood. And the interesting thing is, it landed because it was real. It was not read. It was not overly rehearsed in the way I expected. It was something I understood and would explain in my own way. At the end of the session, someone came up to me and said, "Now that is how you present a PhD." And that brought a big smile on my face. And that really stayed with me. And this is something that I want to say, and what I usually say to my students. Whether you're thinking about becoming an educator, stepping into training, or even teaching part time, it's not about memorizing everything. It's about understanding what you know well enough to explain it in your own words. Because when you understand something properly, you can teach it, you can adapt it, and you can respond in the moment. That's exactly what we focus on inside the level 3 and level 4 education and training qualifications. It's not just about passing the assignment or meeting the assessment criteria. It's about building the confidence to actually stand up and deliver. So here is the lesson I want to kind of share with you. Sometimes you can over prepare, you can write everything out, plan every sentence, and still feel unsure. Because the real issue is not the preparation, it is the trust you have in yourself. So I want you to think about this. Are you currently preparing because you want to do well, or are you preparing because you do not trust yourself yet? Ooh. So, in this episode, this was really the key shift for me. I walked into that room thinking my notes were my safety net. But what I realized is that my experience was my safety net. My understanding was my safety net. My voice was my safety net. And the moment I had to rely on that, everything changed. If there is one thing you take away from this episode, let it be this. You know more than you think you do. You just need to give yourself the opportunity to prove it. If this episode resonated with you, make sure you subscribe and share it with someone who may need to hear this too. And leave a review. It really helps others to find this podcast. And as always, you are no rookie. It's time for you to take action.